Welcome, I'm Jana Cardona, Executive Director for BNI, and I'd like to welcome you to this session where we are going to talk about how to put together what some people lovingly call an elevator speech. We happen in BNI to call it a training moment. I'm going to show you how to put it together so that it's clear, concise, and really helps us understand. Because sometimes when you give a 60-second in BNI, for instance, or a 40, whatever your chapter is allowing, you are so general that we don't get it. We don't know exactly what it is you're looking for. We might know what you do, and so many people focus on that, what I do, and they feel like if I can let you know what I do and let you know everything about what I do, you're going to understand how to refer me, and that's not true. There is so much that you do, you can't possibly cover every little detail. But there are some people we assume are good clients for you when you're going, oh no, they would not be good clients. You know in your own business how that happens. You don't want us to assume, you don't want us to find people for you and just jump to some kind of conclusion without you guiding us in this process and helping us to understand. So I'm going to help you put together a really concise, specific 60 or 40-second topic that you can then use in your BNI chapter or wherever you go, a networking event, you name it, wherever you meet people and you are talking about your business, you must say something much different than just what it is you do. So you start out, and we covered in other segments that hopefully you've watched, the little vignettes that we have. You first have to know what your target market or ideal client is. So you start out by saying, I am, whatever your name is, I hold the whatever seat you hold in the chapter. My target market today is, and whatever it is. So let's just use an example in our business. My husband is in BNI, and we have an environmental business where we do mold. So I'm going to say today, my target market is someone who has a problem with mold in their home. So my target market is mold, but not just mold, mold in their home. Now, if I just said that, and I didn't give you anything to identify, you might just look for black, but that's not the only way that you find mold. You can find it in a lot of different ways. So I have to then talk about the triggers that would show you maybe what to look for, what to smell, what to see, what to listen for. Because sometimes mold is in a wall, for instance. Mold is in the air conditioning system. Mold is under the house. You can't see anything. However, triggers might be if you smell musty smells or moldy smells, whatever, that might be a trigger. You may not smell it, but people might complain, I have headaches all the time. My children are constantly sick. We don't feel good. Things have started happening since we moved in this house that are causing us to wonder what is in here that is making us sick. That's a really big clue, but you may see nothing. And that's another trigger that you can use. Those are the type of things that may, of course, if you see black, it's not always mold, interestingly enough, but that's a possibility that we might be able to test. So the triggers are there. Now, this is something most people don't think about, but it's objections. And a good example is not in our industry so much, but in, say, insurance. In your chapter, if you're trying to get a referral for your insurance person, what's the most common objection you're going to hear from somebody you're trying to get a referral out of? Obviously, it's going to be, I already have insurance, thank you very much. Well, you already probably figured that. Your insurance person, no doubt, has heard that a million times. Most everybody has insurance. So you want to know that's going to come up because most of the time you're going to go, oh, okay, I guess, sorry, William, I didn't get your referral because they already had insurance. Well, they know that, and so they're not going to be able, you're not going to be able to help them. But what if you said something like, figured you did, what do you like about your insurance? They're going to start talking to you, and you want them to talk because you want to be able to say to them, and this is actually when you're actually getting that referral, but when you're teaching us, you might give us this example to say, if they say they have insurance, why don't you just say, figured you did, what do you like about your insurance company? They're going to say things like, I love them. They are so great. They call me all the time. They update me. They give me updates on it. They always review my policy. That sounds pretty good. Pretty much you're not going to get that person. However, what if they say this? Well, they've been in my family for years. My mother and father use them. They go to our church. Everybody in our family uses this guy. Does that really tell you if they like him and whether or not he's doing a good job? Not really, right? So you might want to go a step further, and you can teach us this to say, if they say that, say, sounds like you've known him for a long time. If they could do anything different, what would it be? Then you're going to find out if they really like him. Well, they never really call. I just assume he's doing a good job for us because he's done it for my parents. And I don't even know what I have. How many times have you heard that? And your insurance person, if they're teaching you properly, might say, just say something like, I've had that same situation happen. It happened to me. But my insurance guy that I have now actually just sat down with me, no pressure, and he let me know what I had and whether or not I would even want to switch. Maybe I have a great policy and I wouldn't need to switch, but at least it's explained. And I'm sure he'd do that for you if you want just a second opinion on something. You never want to push a sale of your person on another person. You don't want to say, oh, my guy is so good. He's wonderful. You have to use him. Nobody buys people. Nobody wants to buy people. Nobody wants to have that push on them. So you want to cover any objections they have. Sometimes those objections are in your own head. Let's just give you an example of, say, a business coach. Okay, if a business coach stands up and says a good referral for me is a business who's struggling, and they may be really in a tight financial bind. They may be wondering whether they're going to have to close their doors. Well, I can help them. I can give them a plan. I can help them to increase their income. I can look over whatever it is they tell you that they can do. You may be sitting in your chapter and you may be thinking in your own head objections. And those objections might be something like, well, how do I know if they're struggling? People just don't come up to you and say, gee, my business is about to fold, unless you're really, really close to them. They don't often talk to just anybody about that. They're embarrassed. They're worried. Those are not the common subjects they bring up. But another objection, or roadblock in this case, might be your thought process would go, if they're struggling, how in the heck can they afford a business coach? That's something you're thinking, but you're not saying. You're not verbalizing to the person that's telling you they want that person as a referral. If you stop there, how good of a referral partner are you going to be for the person in your network or in your chapter? Not, right? You're not going to be able to refer to them because you have that roadblock that says, my people are struggling. They can't afford my person in the chapter as much as I'd like to give a referral. I don't want to bring that up. So what you should do at this particular point is go to the person in your chapter that said that and go, you know what? I have a particular issue with what you said. I have this roadblock in my head. I really need to know how to help you. I want to help you, but this is my thought. Can you help me get over that? And you know what? They're going to be happy that you said that because they're thinking out of their own head how they market. They're not really thinking about that because they already know how they'd help that person. And they may not even know that you had a roadblock. But if you mention it, guess what? It's a great thing. And you can help them rephrase, help you understand, and then you can go to the person whose business is struggling and possibly be able to help them with your referral partner from your chapter. Another thing that you want to look at is then, once you get through some of these, what do we actually say? If I say when you go, medical industry is a great referral for me. When you go to your doctor today, think of me. What are you going to think? You're going to think of me, but you're not going to know what to say because I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you anything. I just said, think of me, right? But if I am an IT person, those triggers might be, they're talking about, oh, forgive us today, our computers are so slow lately. Ah, perfect little trigger. And then you can teach me what to say. If they are the cleaning company and they want to do the carpets, you might be able to ask them a particular question. You have to teach us what it is. Number one, back to the bucket analogy that's in one of our previous sessions. Who do you need? Number one, how can I talk to them and get you an open door? I'm not going to get you a sale. I'm going to get you an open door. That's what this whole process is. Once you teach us what to say, remember that sunshine drawing comes into play, because the last thing you want to mention is the tier 3 for this and only this target market. If you confuse us with too many target markets, we get all scattered. But if you give us one and you help us focus and you weave a literal story to where I like to call it, you're painting a very detailed, very clear picture. Like a Thomas Kinkade, you see all the details of what he does, the lighting, the people, the houses, the landscape. That's what you're painting right here. So clear we can see it. We got your picture. Rather than an abstract where we don't have any idea what you just said, who you want, it's all pieced together, but we don't even know what it means. When you get this target market and you've done your sunshine drawings where you know some of those ideal referral partners, that's what you want to mention right here to tie in to this target market. And you want to tell, say it's in our case for the mold, it's a home inspector, because they see mold all the time. They have to inspect the entire house. They find it. They tell the homeowner or the realtor. That person has to get somebody or refer somebody to fix it. It could be a real estate agent. One of those people is a great tier 3 for our target market, which is mold in this case. If you say that and you say a good referral partner for me would be a home inspector because they see it on a regular basis, they've got to have somebody to fix it, and they usually have a preferred vendor list. That makes sense to me. It makes sense of what I would say to this person, which, remember, our little green is our money machine down here. We always want to include this, because if we miss it, we're only asking for one person at a time. If we hit it, we're asking for this one person, but we're hitting this person who can give us multiple of our target market. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. That is a good, clear 40 to 60 second presentation or elevator speech if you're not in BNI and you use this for something else. And you want to be able to talk in here about the benefits too, especially in here, the benefits of what you do for people versus just what you do. What you do is not interesting, but how you can help somebody right here, the way that you benefit them, that's huge. Because that makes a difference as to whether I'm going to perk up my ears and listen to you, or whether I'm going to say, oh, that's interesting, and go on because you didn't hit any hot buttons with me. That is the formula for a 60-second. Now, work on yours. Go out and really think about how you're going to present yourself so that you can make sense to somebody else, and hopefully we'll find your referral. Thanks for your time. Hope you got something out of this session.